Namaste and welcome back to the Asana Sana Yoga Studio. I am Sana, and thank you for stopping in for today's Asana Sana Strength. Today's class, we're going to go over that core muscle once more. And remember, our core muscles start here in our abdominals and wrap all the way around to our back. These are our muscles that keep our bodies sitting upright and erect. They protect our spine and protect our vital organs here in this very tender zone known as the torso. So, as always, let's find ourselves seated so we can ground ourselves before class starts and set some intentions. So come on to the mat here, easy as you can, crisscross applesauce. And always as normal, flip your legs around so that your leg that's on the bottom is now on the top. Go ahead and work yourself around, moving the space of your sits bones, the flesh of your sits bones, out of the way so you can come down to the mat and feel yourself nice and supported. From here, let's take a deep inhale through the nose, filling up the chest, letting the chest and the back arch, coming up real straight, exhaling. From there, allowing our belly muscles to sit soft, bringing our chest in, softening those ribs, keeping them situated over our hip bones. Let's roll those shoulders up and back down, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. And now let's softly flutter the eyes shut. And in this moment here, there's no need to think of anything. All you need to do is just take a few deep breaths as we start to center ourselves, quiet the mind to get ready for our core flow today. And while we're breathing here, let's take a moment to set some intentions for class. And as always, I will share my intentions with you. I intend to lead you all through an invigorating dynamic movement core flow. And I hope that you end class today feeling a little bit stronger than you did when you got here. Those are my intentions. Excellent. I hope you have your intentions nice and set. Let's get started. Let's take an inhale, sending the hands up overhead. Let's clap 3 times. Send out the energy. Exhaling. Let's bring our hands down to the mat as we start to shake our head no. No need to open up super wide at first. We're just going to gently open up that neck here, warming up the neck muscles. See if you can go a little bit wider with each exhale. Excellent. Let's slow ourselves down, coming to stillness. Let's start to nod our head yes. No need to drop it all the way to the back. Just warm yourself up as we go. Excellent. Wonderful. Let's slow ourselves down, coming right back into stillness, taking our head, just looking down, coming up and around. Let's do some circles here. Ensure that you're still breathing while doing your circles. And remember, this shouldn't cause any pain. Excellent. Slow ourselves down. Let's come back to the opposite direction. Intending on waking up the neck. Excellent. Let's bring ourselves back to stillness, staring into the front. Let's inhale our arms out to a T. Let's exhale as we drop that right ear to that right shoulder, using our right palm, allowing it to sit as a weight as you tend to stretch out that arm there. Let's drop our hand, our left arm here at a 45-degree angle, letting that arm stretch right out. Keep breathing as we inhale, bringing that head up to center. Let's turn our face to the right as we drop our chin, using that hand once more as a counterbalance. Let's come into that neck stretch into the back of the left side of the neck. And remember, you don't want to pull your neck down. You just want to let your hands sit as a weight. Excellent. Let's inhale our arms back to a T, bringing our face back to center. Let's go ahead and drop that left ear this time to the left shoulder, using that left palm as a counterbalance. Go ahead and move that right arm down to a 45-degree angle. Keep breathing into that opening as we allow the space in our neck fascia to open up, letting our body become just a little bit more flexible with time. Excellent. Inhale, bringing our face up to center, turning, looking toward the left. Let's drop that chin down to the chest. Exhaling, letting that hand hold here. That's another counterbalance, returning that stretch in the right rear of the neck. Let's take an inhale as we bring our heads up. Let's bring our arms back to center here. Exhale as we drop them down to the mat. Very good. Let's start to roll our shoulders in on an inhale, starting to roll them forward, up and back. And let's start slow. You can keep your hands on the mat, or you can keep your hands on your knees, maybe on your waist. Just starting slow here. We're just going to open up that fascia, wake up the muscles here, get ourselves nice and going here. Excellent. Let's bring that to stillness. Inhale. Let's reverse. Exhaling, going the opposite direction. Warming up those shoulders. Excellent. Let's slow that down as we inhale those arms up to the sky. Exhale. Let's drop that arm down, grabbing that elbow, stretching out the bottom of the shoulder and triceps as well. Let's take an inhale as we wrap our arm around the side of the body. Let's open up the top in front of our shoulder, and also dropping our left ear to our left shoulder, sending open that fascia line here as we connect to our neck. Breathe into that stretch, allowing the arm to open. Let's inhale those arms out to a T, bringing our head back up to center here. Exhale, let's bring that right arm across the body, using the left arm as a counterbalance here to kind of straighten that arm out. Breathe into the stretch. Excellent. Let's send those arms once more back out into a T. As we pull, exhale, bringing our arms up to the sky. Let's drop that left arm behind the back as we go ahead and stretch out the tricep, opening up the bottom of the shoulder into that neck as well. Excellent. Inhale, bringing those arms to a T as we send the left arm behind the body, grabbing the wrist here, dropping that right ear to the right shoulder, opening up that side. I can see everyone enjoying the music in this class. If you're not here live today, I hope as you're enjoying it on a VOD, you have some great music playing. So let's inhale, bringing our arms out to a T. Let's exhale, coming into a hug, if you will, on the left side, using the right arm to guide as we stretch out the back of the shoulder and the shoulder blade. Excellent. Let's release what I call a flourish. Bring the hands down to the mat once more. Keeping our hands on our knees. Let's just take a deep inhale, bringing that chest up and forward, sending the head back if it's within the practice, filling up the lungs. And with an exhale, just curling from the bottom from our pelvis here, curling all the way back, waking up the spine. Let's just for 5 more breaths. Inhaling, opening up, coming into a cow. Exhaling, coming into a seated cat. Just allowing our spine to wake up before class. 2 more breaths. And let's take an inhale as we send our arms up. Exhaling, turning to the right, dropping the arms behind to the side as we come into a seated twist. With each exhale, see if you can go a little bit further into that twist. Really see what you can do. Excellent. Let's inhale, bringing our arms up. Exhale, let's come around to the side, dropping the arms, coming into a seated twist on the left side this time. Breathing deep into that stretch. Feel your back open. Excellent. Let's inhale, bringing our arms up to the sky, exhaling ourselves back into the center. Let's send our right arm into our lap. Taking a deep inhale as we send our left arm up into the sky. Let's exhale as we drop our arm over, coming into a side bend. Turning our face up to the sky if that is within our practice. But ensuring that we keep our left hip on the ground so that we're only opening up the obliques in the side body. And with each breath, intentionally send your exhales, opening up that side body just a little bit further. Excellent. Inhale, bringing ourselves up to center, dropping that left arm. Let's do the opposites. Inhale this time, putting the left arm into the lap, sending that right arm up into the sky. And as we exhale, dropping ourselves down onto the left side, keeping that right hip on the mat, turning our face up to the sky if it is within our practice. Exhaling as we stretch those obliques, breathing intentionally into that side body. And with each exhale, feel yourself sink just a little bit more. Excellent. Inhale, bringing ourselves up once more. Let's drop those hands down to the mat. Let's go ahead and bring our feet coming into cobbler's pose or butterfly pose here. Let's take a hold of our ankles as we take a deep breath in, sending our arms up to the sky. Let's exhale as we bend forward. And don't worry too much if you can't come all the way down. That's perfectly fine. If you have a block available, you're welcome to rest your head on your block. But we're just stretching here from our waist, just igniting the muscles of our core before we take them through our flow. Excellent. Let's inhale, sending ourselves up here. Hands up to the sky, exhaling, dropping everything down. Wonderful. Let's find ourselves standing in the mat. And we're going to start in the middle of the mat instead of at the top as usual. But once more, let's go over alignment. I'll just turn for your benefit, but again, facing this way. For alignment, we want to make sure we keep our feet hip width apart. You can either use your hands to see where your hip bones are and keeping your feet underneath that, or you can use a fist and just gently guide your feet to go around the fist. That's approximately hip width apart. From there, we want to roll ourselves up, lifting our toes. Let's shift our weight forward until we feel our big toe knuckles stop us, and then shift our weight back until we feel our heels stop us. Keep going till you can find yourself not moving anymore. You can feel that right here in the middle. If you did this, you're nice and balanced. Letting the toes drop, that is the balance point that you would need to be at to be perfectly aligned. Keeping your knees nice and soft. Let's tilt that pelvis, keeping it in a neutral tilt. Lightly squeezing the bottom, if you will. Inhale as we up and roll our shoulders back, sending our shoulder blades down. Let's keep our ribs from flaring out by relaxing the ribs, keeping the bottoms of the ribs here over our hip bones. Let's keep our ears over the shoulders as our chin stays parallel to the floor as we gaze directly forward in front of us. So this is our good posture that we're starting in here, our good alignment. I'm going to turn back to face you here. We're going to start by inhaling those hands up to the sky. Let's clasp our hands coming into what I would call Charlie's Angles fingers. Exhale as we drop our waist over to the left here, keeping our hips in the single spot. No sending out or bending the knee as we come into a side bend. Let's inhale, bringing ourselves up to center, and exhale as we drop ourselves over to the right. Let's inhale, sending our arms apart, taking a wide step. Exhale, coming into goddess pose, keeping those arms up. Let's take an inhale as we straighten those legs, coming into five-pointed star. Exhale as we turn our right foot, bending the body, coming into our triangle pose. Let's take an inhale, exhale here. And as we inhale once more, let's turn that left foot facing the front, bringing the hands to the front of the mat, coming into a halfway up. As we exhale, let's come down into our pyramid pose. Excellent. From here, let's take a deep breath as we take a step back with that left leg, dropping our knee, coming into our crescent lunge. No need to push ourselves all the way down. Let's take an inhale, cartwheeling those hands back to the mat. Let's curl that left toe, straighten that leg up, turning, a lot of instructions, turning that right foot to the front. Let's drop down, peeling the left toes off the mat, coming into Skandasana on the right. Whoop. Taking an inhale, let's drop our hands to the mat, shifting our body weight over, sending our hips to the sky so we're in a wide legged fold. Let's adjust our feet as we exhale, dropping our bottom to the mat, coming into Malasana. Oh my goodness. Sometimes the balance is a little off. Let's take an inhale as we place our hands back down on the mat, sending those hips right up to the sky, changing the feet. Let's go ahead and exhale as we send our weight over to the left side, peeling those toes, right toes off of the mat, coming into Skandasana on the left. Excellent. Let's inhale as we drop those right toes, turning to face the left side. So we're coming up halfway. Let's exhale as we straighten out that right leg, dropping that knee, coming up into our crescent pose. Excellent. From here, let's inhale, cartwheeling our hands down to the mat. Let's straighten that knee, coming all the way up into our halfway fold, adjusting our feet as necessary. Exhale, coming into a pyramid pose. Let's inhale as we take a step back, turning that right foot out to face the front, exhaling our arms up and wide, coming into our triangle pose. Let's inhale ourselves as we find ourselves cartwheeling into our five-pointed star. Exhale, coming into our goddess pose, seeing how low we can drop this time. Let's take an inhale as we straighten up, bringing our arms back into prayer hands. Excellent. That was our first Chanda Namaskar, or moon salutation. I find it more appropriate to do moon salutations in the evening and also right before core class, because that fires up your leg muscles, which in turn fires up all of these muscles of the core, making the class be a little bit more effective. So let's do that again. I love when there's a point to things. Anyway, here we are. Inhale our hands up to the sky, Charlie's Angel's fingers as we drop ourselves over to the right side. Inhale, let's bring ourselves up to the center. Exhale, coming over to the left. Taking an inhale, let's open those hands, taking a step wide. Exhaling as we squat down into our goddess pose. Inhale, seeing ourselves coming into our five-pointed star. Let's turn that right foot out to the right. Exhale, sending our hips to the side, coming into our triangle pose. Let's take an inhale as we turn that left foot facing the front, adjusting our stance, coming halfway. Exhale, coming into that head to knee or pyramid pose. Let's take an inhale as we shift our weight forward. Exhale, bringing that left foot back. This time, let's stay up on our knee. Let's stay up without going down on our knee. Exhaling, coming into a low lunge. Let's inhale, cartwheeling those hands down to the mat. Let's turn our feet forward as we exhale, peeling those left toes off of the mat, coming into Skandasana on the right. Excellent. Inhale, bringing our hands down to the mat. Let's rotate our feet facing forward as we come into a halfway fold, readjusting our toes as needed. Exhaling as we point our knees and toes in the same direction, coming into Malasana. Doing a great job. Let's send those hands right down to the mat once more, sending our bottom up into the air. Let's exhale, peeling those right toes off the mat, coming into Skandasana on the left. Now, let's see if Sana, the teacher, can remember the flow. Let's inhale, bringing our toes down to the mat, turning our body to the left side. Let's exhale, we drop our leg, straightening up, coming into a low lunge. I remembered. It happens to the best of us. Let's inhale, sending those hands down to the mat, coming halfway as we walk ourselves into that pyramid pose, fixing our feet. Let's exhale, coming in to head to knee pyramid pose. Let's inhale, sending that foot back, straightening the front, but facing the right foot up into the front. Let's exhale, coming into our triangle pose. Let's inhale, turning that left foot up to the front as well. Exhaling, coming up into that five-headed star, coming down into your goddess pose. Let's inhale, bringing those feet together and our hands together, coming into prayer hands. Excellent. Now that we're all nice and warmed up, let's move on to our flow. And like I said, today's flow is going to be focused on the core, so we'll be doing a lot of things on the mat. So please find me here on the mat. We're going to come into tabletop position. And the alignment for tabletop position is very much the same as standing. You want to keep your knees hip width apart. Let's keep these back legs here parallel to the side of the mat. You may curl your toes or keep your toes straight. It's up to you. And now when we come to the arms, we want to make sure our wrists are located directly under our shoulders, and both of our the back of our elbows, our elbow folds, are facing straight out. That way our arm is nice and strong. Don't lock your elbows. Let's keep our shoulders down from our ears, spreading our hands out, feeling our palms as we spread out, suctioning to the mat, almost in a way where you can kind of curl your fingers and it would allow you to pick the mat up the floor here. So from this power position, let's just slowly inhale, dropping our belly, allowing our pelvis to tilt as we send our head back, keeping our ears from our shoulders, coming into a cow pose. And let's hold here for 5 breaths. An alignment check, are your ears away from your shoulders? Just readjust, holding here 2 more breaths. Excellent. Take a deep inhale in this position. And as we start to exhale, let's curl our pelvis in, curling our spine, dropping our head, pulling our belly into our spine here. Exhaling, holding in our cat pose. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. And check your body, scanning our body. Are we making sure that our neck isn't holding tension? You should be allowed to rotate your neck around, or it should be easily able to do that. That's what I meant. That way you're not holding any tension in your neck. Let's hold here for 3 more breaths. Excellent. With our last exhale, let's just find ourselves coming back into our neutral position, keeping our eyes gazing at the front of the mat or at the bottom corner of your wall. From here, we're going to move into our tiger pose. We want to keep our weight shifted to the back as we bring up our right arm, sending it straight out in front of us. If you're finding that this is enough of a challenge, please, by all means, keep yourself in this position. If not, let's take it to the next step. Let's shift our weight over to our right knee as we inhale, lifting that left leg, coming up into another extension and variation of the tiger pose. If this is you all day, hold it here. If not, if you'd like to extend your pose, send that right arm back, wrapping that left foot. And with an exhale, let's hold here, keeping that core nice and tight, flexing that foot into our full position of a tiger pose. Everyone, your tiger pose of choice, let's hold here for 5 breaths. Don't forget to breathe through the nose. It's tough, but we're working that core. Keeping your shoulders down from your ears, go ahead and readjust yourself. We've got 2 more breaths. And after our last inhale, let's exhale, finding ourselves slowly coming back, bringing our hands back down to the mat. Let's keep that leg extended, that left leg extended out here as we get ready for our next position, which is some dynamic movement tiger pose crunches. So it sounds exactly like what it looks like. We're just going to inhale, sending that arm and that leg out. Exhale, crunching in with the knee. If your balance is not up to point or you're not feeling that kind of a crunch today, you can more than welcome to keep your leg extended as you come in, curling this way. You can even keep your knees down, curling in your tiger crunches this way as well. There's options for everyone. So let's find our active tiger pose of choice. Inhaling, let's get into our active position. And let's, with an inhale, sending the arms out. Let's exhale, bringing our elbow to knee, coming into the crunch. Let's go ahead and do this for 10 breaths. Halfway there, make sure we keep the core muscles nice and tight. Keep breathing. 3 more to go. 2, last one. Let's really make it count as we inhale, exhale, curling it in. Let's drop ourselves, our hands and our knees back to the mat, sending ourselves into a temporary child's pose for just a moment, relaxing those core muscles. Well, that was nice. Definitely felt good and ready to go. Excellent. Let's bring ourselves back up into our tabletop here. Let's, this time, working on the left, let's inhale, sending that left arm front. Let's take that right arm back as well, shifting our weight, finding our balance. If you'd like to go into the full extension of the tiger pose, go ahead and curl that foot. Holding here if this is enough for you. If not, let's send that arm on the back, grabbing your foot and your ankle here, exhaling, coming into a tiger pose. Let's keep our core tight as we breathe here, keeping our head in a neutral position. We have this for 5 breaths. And if you're struggling with a little bit of balance, remember you want to go ahead and counterpose your arm to your hand. Kick your foot to your hand as you pull your foot back with your hand. So it's an active engagement. We're going to hold here for 3 more breaths. Last breath, deep inhale, exhale as we send the leg straight out. Slowly bring the arm around, coming back into our tabletop for a brief rest. And from here, let's remember our tiger crunches from before. Let's get ourselves nice and engaged, holding that core tight. Send that left arm. Let's do this. Inhale, lifting that leg. Exhale, let's knee to elbow. Let's do this for 10. 5, make sure you're keeping yourself nice and tight here in the core area, or you will miss the point of the workout. We're almost done, you guys. We've got 4 more to go. One more. Let's do one big one. Push, 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 push. Exhale. Wonderful. Let's send our hand and our knee back down to the mat gently. Taking a deep inhale, let's exhale, sending ourselves down into a brief stay of child's pose. Excellent. All right, from this child's pose, let's keep ourselves here on the mat. Inhale, bringing ourselves up to that tabletop. Let's curl our toes under. And as we exhale, send our hips up into the sky, coming into a downward dog. From here, let's let ourselves pull forward, dropping ever so slowly, finding ourselves coming into a downward dog, or an upward dog, excuse me, a good resting pose. Now, if you'd like, you can put yourself down into a cobra pose if an upward dog is not your cup of tea. But if you can keep yourselves up on your hips here, after you come into your downward dog, if you can keep yourself up on your hips, let's hold ourselves here, coming into 5 breaths, keeping that core nice and tight, balancing ourselves between our hands and our feet. But you never thought this would be a core pose. We're going to hold here. Let's hold here for 4 more breaths. Keep breathing through your nose. Keep your core nice and tight. 3 more, or excuse me, 1 more breath after this. And as we take that last exhale, let's go ahead and send our hips up into the sky. Exhaling, coming into our downward dog. And from here, we're going to go into a nice upward dog, downward dog flow. So we're just going to pull ourselves forward, just like we did before. And this is the end of the position. So this is 1. And the next upward dog would be 2. We're going to do this here for 10 breaths. So let's hold here for just a second, getting our hands nice and prepared, sending our shoulder blades down the back. Let's take a deep inhale. As we exhale, sending ourselves into our upward dog. Let's start our flow. 1. Inhale. Exhale. And as we're halfway through, if you're finding yourself not wanting to complete the flow, please hold yourself or see as many as you can do in the time. But pick a pose to hold yourself in, keeping that core nice and tight as we complete our flow. We have 3 more. Doing great. 2 more. Last one. Let's exhale, dropping ourselves, coming into a brief stay of child's pose here for just a moment. Whew. Let's catch our breath, taking a breath. All right, let's inhale, coming back up into our tabletop here. And let me check the next flow. Excellent. Let's inhale, sending those hips once more up into the sky. Let's do a downward dog here as we walk out our ankles, allowing our heart rate to come down. Excellent. And I'm just going to turn around so that you all can see me from your side here. So we're in this downward dog. Let's inhale, slowing ourselves down to stillness, sending that right leg up into the air. And this next pose we're going to do is wild thing. If you'd like, you can bend the leg over, opening up the hips and holding ourselves here. If you'd like to fully extend the pose, find yourself shifting your weight over to your left side, allowing your right hand to come open. You may also wild thing all the way open. Let's hold here, keeping our core tight, holding our muscles in our wild thing pose for 5 breaths. I'm going to send my wild thing back to the front here, keeping my hips open and engaged. We have 2 more breaths in this pose. And if you found yourself in a full extension of a wild woman, let's go ahead and rotate ourselves, bringing those hips back to the front. Everyone here, let's find ourselves coming back down into our downward dog here. Holding here for 5 breaths as we catch our breaths. I'm just going to rotate around for your benefit so you can see. Meeting you back here in our downward dog. And at our last exhale, let's take an inhale as we send our left leg up into the sky this time. Holding this here, let's drop that left leg, opening up the hip. And if you'd like, you can fully extend yourself, coming into your wild woman. But let's hold here in our wild woman pose, keeping our core tight, using our balance. 5 breaths. And I'm going to come back into my half wild thing. We all have 3 more breaths to go. Excellent. If you find yourself in a full extension, come meet us here halfway with our legs bent, hips open. And everyone, let's take a deep breath as we exhale, bringing that foot back down to the mat, coming back into our downward dog. Excellent. Holding here. Let's walk our feet up ever so slowly to the front of the mat to meet our hands here. Let's hold here. And this over this out, not wide leg, but just in our fold here, down fold. Let's grab our elbows and just sway just gently, letting our hips open. This also helps us kind of use our muscle weight here to open up a little bit more of our core, helping us rest in another position. Excellent. Let's find ourselves coming to stillness. And inhale, sending our hands up overhead. Let's exhale, bringing our hands down in prayer pose, releasing ourselves, coming into Tadasana, which is mountain pose. And from here, this way, we're going to hold our mountain pose, trying to come into a nice flow for Warrior 3. So this works on our balance and our core as well. And let's do a Warrior 3 first as a reminder. So we're standing here in mountain pose. Let's inhale, sending our arms right overhead. If you like, you can bring your foot up into tree pose, if that helps you. But bringing our knee up, let's take a deep breath, finding ourselves rooted on our left side, bringing that right foot up. Let's exhale as we begin to cantilever forward, sending that right foot out to the back of us, coming into a Warrior 3. Now, sometimes myself included, it can be a little difficult to balance into a warrior three. And occasionally I will drop my leg down and bend my knee to keep myself balanced. So holding into this position, let's just breathe here for about 3 breaths, getting our balance, seeing what variation of warrior three works for us. Do you want to bend the knee? Do you want to keep your leg down? Let's hold here for 2 more breaths. Excellent. Make sure we're staying nice and engaged. And let's inhale, bringing that foot down, coming back into our tree pose from here. So we're going to go into a tree warrior three pose here. Starting on the right side, let's find our left foot nice and secure in the middle of the mat, coming into a low shrub of a tree. Let's send those arms up into the sky, bringing our right knee up once more, taking a deep inhale. Let's exhale as we tilt our body forward, coming into that flow. Inhale up, exhale back, inhale up. We have 8 more. Exhale back, 7 to go. Try to use your core muscles to keep yourself nice and balanced here. And also remember, it's no shame in keeping the foot on the floor. Works the same muscles. You will get there. 4 more to go. Whoop. I almost saw because I lied. I meant to say 2 more to go. 1 more after this. And exhale. Let's hold that warrior for just a moment. All right, inhale, bringing ourselves up, coming into Tadasana. Very cool. All right, let's do this on the other side this time. You feel how that flow works? So it should be a little easier as we come into the flow with our left leg, using our right leg as a support. So I'm going to keep my foot nice in the middle of the mat here. Remember, spread the toes. Be sure to grip the mat. Let's send our arms. Let's send our foot into a low shrub for a tree. Sending those arms up overhead. Bringing that left knee up in front of us. Let's take a deep inhale. As we exhale, let's hold here for a moment, trying to catch our balance. Coming on the left side here. And if you have a chair or if you have a windowsill like I do, it's totally great to use that as well. Excellent. Let's inhale. Exhale. Let's do 1 more together. And we have 8 more to go. Doing great, guys. For about halfway. Don't worry if you fall off. Keep going until I say stop. 6. Doing great, guys. Keep your core muscles tight. It'll help with your balance. 2 more. Last one. Bringing ourselves up to our tree. Exhaling the feet down. Dropping the arms. Exhaling into Tadasana or mountain pose. Excellent. Inhale, sending those arms once more overhead. Let's tighten our core muscles. Roll our shoulders back and down. Exhale, coming into a chair pose and holding here. Let's hold here for 5 breaths as we catch our breath. If you'd like to go ahead and express yourself into a twist, bring your arms into prayer pose. Inhale, come to a twist on the right side. Let's hold this for 2 breaths if you'd like. If not, keep yourself in that chair pose. Let's inhale, coming to center. If you're in a twist, exhaling, twisting to the opposite side, holding here for 2 more breaths. Everyone who else is straight, we're going to hold here for 2 more breaths as well. Excellent. Inhale. Everyone who's twisted, bringing those arms up overhead. Exhale as we straighten those legs, come down into that forward fold. I'm going to turn here for the side so you can see me. Let's place our hands on the mat as we take a step back, coming into a plank. And we're going to hold our plank here for 5 breaths. If you'd like, you can go ahead and drop your knees down, but keep your hips nice and level, ears away from your shoulders. We're going to hold here. We have this for 3 more breaths. Make sure you keep breathing. You can even come down to your forearms if you'd like. 2 more breaths. And last one, release. Excellent. Now we're going to come into our side planks next. I like to keep the side planks down as we will be going into a side plank flow. So we're just going to keep ourselves, our right knee here down on the mat with our right hand. Extending that left leg, let's inhale, coming into a side plank. And actually, let's take a vote of hands. Would you like a flow or would you like to just hold? Everyone says they want to just hold. Excellent. So if you'd like, keep that knee down. If not, let's fully extend out. Inhale, turning our legs over to the side. Let's exhale, coming into that side plank, dropping the hips. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. Make sure you keep your shoulders over your wrists so you have your balance. We still have 3 more breaths to go. 2. Last one. Let's turn ourselves, coming back into our plank, and I will rotate my body over so I can see you all. Let's not waste any time. Inhaling, turning ourselves over to the side, bringing ourselves up for a side plank, keeping those hips level. Exhale, coming to a side plank on the left. Keep breathing. Remember, at any time, drop that knee. You want to keep those core muscles tight, holding everything tight. It's not worth it to be in pain. We have 3 more to go. Dropping your knee does not mean you do not get the same workout. You really do. 2 more breaths. Last one. And as we exhale, turn ourselves to the front, coming into that plank. Let's drop our knees and inhale ourselves up into a kneeling pose or a hero's pose here. Whew. Just about to approach our cool down. And from here, our last pose of this flow is going to be our camel pose. And if you've been working with me for a while, you know there are many variations of camel. You can send your hands back, drop yourself a little further, or you can even go all the way down to your ankles. So however you like to do it, let's inhale, sending the arms up. Exhale, spiraling back down to the back of our body, dropping our head, coming into our camel pose of choice. Keep breathing. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. And after our last breath, let's inhale. Cartwheeling those arms forward, sending them out just above where you would normally come for a tabletop position. Let's widen those knees, exhaling, dropping our hips, coming into an extended child's pose. Let's breathe, sending all of our intentions to our belly, softening up our core muscles that we have used in this last invigorating flow. Really breathe into the stretch of this child's pose here. Let's inhale. Let's walk our hands over to the right side, working out those left obliques. Exhaling into that pose, allowing the muscles of the oblique to lengthen. Excellent. Inhale. Walk those arms over to the left this time, sending our intention and all of our breath over to the right obliques, stretching out the right side body. Wonderful. One more time. Let's walk those hands up to the center here. Let's inhale, sending our hips up this time, keeping our chest on the mat if that's within our practice. Let's find ourselves here in puppy pose, holding this pose here, keeping our breath natural. Let's stretch out the upper back, helping out the rest of our core muscles to find a little reprieve. Allow your belly muscles to soften, touching the tops of your thighs, coming into this restorative pose. Wonderful. Let's inhale, bring yourselves back into the tabletop position. Let's exhale as we send our right arm underneath our left, palms facing up, dropping that right forearm or that left forearm to the mat, coming in to thread the needle on the right. Really allow your stomach muscles to soften. Worked on that a lot today. Excellent. Inhale, bringing ourselves back to tabletop. Let's exhale, sending that left arm this time to the side, dropping the right forearm to the mat and the head here, coming in to thread the needle on the left. Excellent. Inhale, bringing our hands back to the mat. Let's find ourselves seated in our staff pose here. Legs extended out in front of us, keeping them nice and active, flexing the feet. Let's bring our arms up in an inhale. And as we exhale, let's lean forward with our peace fingers, grabbing our big toes, coming into our caterpillar pose. And remember, you want to stretch yourselves out, coming from the waist, not from the shoulders. If that's becoming a little difficult, go ahead and pop your knees up so you can pull out of the waist, supporting that neck. Keep practicing. And with every exhale, see if you can inch out your feet just a tiny bit. Just scooch them out to see if you can extend your caterpillar pose just a little bit further. But remember, don't hunch. Let's keep ourselves nice and upright. Excellent. Let's release, sending our arms up and overhead, bringing them down to the side of the mat here, next to our hips. Let's keep our feet extended. As we point our toes, we're going to just take an inhale, sending our hips up, coming into reverse plank, dropping our head, relaxing the body, allowing our upper body here to do the work, opening up, coming into this wonderful restful pose. And yes, it is a restful pose. Stretching out the arms with the other side here. Wonderful. Let's take an inhale, and as we exhale, let's drop those hips coming down to the mat. Scooting ourselves forward, keep our feet flat on the mat as we find ourselves coming down into laying. Allow yourself to get situated for a moment here. Find your full spine extended onto the mat, occipital bone here as well for support. Keep your arms to the side of the body as we move our heels just a closer to our bottom. Let's take an inhale, sending our hips up, coming into our bridge pose. And if you like, you can do a full extension of a bridge pose by clasping your hands underneath, pulling your shoulders beneath your body here. Gently coming into that pose. Holding here. Stretching out the lower part of our core muscles, allowing those to lengthen as well. Sending our breath to one pelvis, opening up with intent. Let's take one last inhale, and as we exhale, release the arms if you have them clasped underneath you, and then roll yourself one vertebrae at a time, coming from the top, exhaling slowly with our hips being the last to hit the mat. Keeping our feet bent, relaxing here. Let's move our hips, finding our lower back to the mat, opening up, finding ourselves our comfort zone, our neutral zone, laying on this mat. Let's inhale, bringing the knees to the chest. Let's clasp them to the chest, flexing the feet. Let's go ahead and grab those big toes once more with our peace fingers. And as we exhale, let's send our feet up into the air, coming into a happy baby. Knees and armpits or knees on the outside of the arm, whichever makes your baby the happiest. Go ahead and rotate the hips out, moving around, allowing yourself to stretch out any part of your back or your core that we didn't quite get on that side. Maybe opening up your hips as well. Or maybe you just like to hold your baby still and rock gently. That's perfectly acceptable too. Excellent flow today, everyone. Really take this time to allow your body to rest up. Wonderful. Let's exhale. Let's send those feet once more back to the mat. Let's take our right ankle, placing it on our left knee. Let's exhale as we drop our knees over to the right side, coming in a variation of the stag leg here. Opening up the legs for that twist. Allowing a little bit of lengthening to come into those other obliques and the rest of your core muscles here on the left side. Inhale, filling up that belly, allowing yourself to feel the lengthening of the muscles in the core. Excellent. Let's inhale, bringing the feet back to the mat. Let's switch sides, placing the left ankle on the right knee, taking an inhale. Let's exhale as we drop our knees to the left side, coming into a variation of a stag leg. And allow your hips and your knees, they'll counterweight with your foot on your knee to drop your leg open a little bit more, stretching out that hip. Case in point, stretching out a little bit more of the core muscle here on the oblique side. Excellent. Let's inhale, sending those legs back up, bringing the feet back to the floor. Let's bring our arms and our legs back together once more for a cannonball type of a hug. And with an exhale, relax, release, and let your body go, sending your arms, coming to Shavasana, opening those legs, letting your arms either lay beside you, open up to the world, resting gently on your belly. Let's take a deep inhale through the nose and out through the mouth, settling down into our final pose of the evening, Shavasana. And before we come up from our Shavasana for this evening, I would like to read for you a passage from the Daily Stoic. Today's reading is on the beauty of choice. It reads, "You are not your body and hairstyle, but your capacity for choosing well. If your choices are beautiful, so too will you be." Epictetus. It's that line in the movie Fight Club. You are not your job. You are not how much money you have in the bank. You are not the car you drive. You are not the contents in your wallet. Obviously, our friend Epictetus never saw that movie or read the book, but apparently the consumerism of the 1990s existed in ancient Rome too. It's easy to confuse the image we present to the world for who we actually are, especially when media messaging deliberately blurs that distinction. You might look beautiful today, but if that was the result of vain obsession in the mirror this morning, the Stoics would ask, are you actually beautiful? A body built from hard work is admirable. A body built to impress gym rats is not. That's what the Stoics urge us to consider. Not how things appear, but what effort, activity, and choices they are a result of. Well, excellent food for thought as we move through our awareness month in the Daily Stoic. And from here, I'd like you to begin to invite a little bit of movement into your body by wiggling your toes and wiggling your fingers. Keeping your eyes shut, begin to stretch your body as any way you need to. Just bring yourself back into that physical awareness. Let's take a deep inhale and exhale as we roll our body over to the left or the right side, cradling our arm into our bicep, holding us here in this restorative position for just a moment. Let's inhale, sitting ourselves peacefully up into Sukhasana, easy seat, crisscrossing our applesauce. And if you can, keep your eyes shut. Let's keep that going as we inhale, sending those arms up overhead, exhaling, bringing our hands down into prayer pose in front of the chest. Let's go ahead and softly flutter the eyes open, making contact with the room. Well, everyone, thank you very much again for joining me for another class of Asana Sana Strength. I hope you enjoyed this core strengthening flow as we work through this dynamic movement. I encourage you to attend next Wednesday at the same time, 5 p.m. at the studio on moxie.xyz. My words are escaping me. So I should end the class. And as always, I'd like to say to you all, be the light that you wish to see in the world. See the light that you wish to see in the world. Everyone have a great evening. I will talk to you all next week at 5 p.m. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Excellent. Great job today, guys. See you all around next week. Bye, everyone.